It'll say live. There you go.
Okay. Well, welcome to the very first Chamber Chat of 2018. And thank you to Shannon Gronich for being my co-host again this year. We're very excited, and we are actually looking at getting some sponsors. So if you would like to be a sponsor and come on our Chamber Chat, it's only $50. We will interview you. We'll have interactions. You don't have to come in. We can get you on from your home.
Yep.
It's nice, so if you can come in. You know what? This is great exposure. I remember, you know, people were saying, well, like, how much exposure do you get with this? But we minimum have about 130 to 150 views. So it's usually more than that. And so that's more than you're going to meet at even most networking functions. So it really is great exposure. And you've got to remember, it's in perpetuity. So you've got it on our channel, on our Facebook feed. You can share it on yours. Yeah, it's on a YouTube channel. People can go back and watch it. So seriously, it's a great value, and nice to be able to talk in a, you know, a nice atmosphere about your business, about your companies, you know, what makes you different, perfecting your elevator pitch. So we welcome anybody to, you know, get involved with this one, because it really is, I think, a great exposure. So, and we cover lots of different topics. So we're always looking, we actually have our whole year now. I mean, talk about being intentional, man. We were on it in December and had them all listed for the entire year. So if you want to know what we're talking about every year or every month, we have it down. So, hey, we can like pat, because last year we were like, okay, now what are we talking about?
What are we doing next month? Yeah, there's somewhere we ended the show going, we'll let you know the topic.
So yes, we have been very good at that. So a couple things, just kind of some housekeeping things. We have exciting stuff.
Oh, so one minute.
Yes.
Okay, if you're joining us on Facebook Live and you want to join us on video, hi, Randy Mace. Go to Greater Palm Bay Chamber of Commerce.com. We would love to have you join us and interact. And
yes. Because if you just watch on Facebook, we can see your posts, but we can't interact with you. Whereas if you go to our chamber site, the Greater Palm Bay Chamber of Commerce, it's a special one for YouTube, then we can turn the camera onto you and have you interact in our in the hours. So love to have that. But two things, come by the chamber. We have our community directory and business guide, and we are so excited. It has information, well, all our businesses, our chamber member businesses are listed in the guide, and it also has information for South Brevard County. So the city of Palm Bay, Melbourne, West Melbourne, Malabar, and Grant Valcaria are all in this. And we've never had a guide that has all that information. And the cities were so excited, they want to add more. So look for the 2019 one. It's going to be jam-packed. It'll probably be twice that size. And we also have the companion map for the city of Palm Bay. So if you're wondering about the city, it's 100 square miles, so largest city for both population and area. So this map, seriously, when you're trying to look for things, it is a massive endeavor. So it's nice to kind of have a old-fashioned map instead of scrolling your, okay, sorry, Troy, instead of scrolling around the whole, you know, Google Maps, because, well, we have a lot of people that say they like to see the entire, like, where is that? And they're kind of moving, you know, especially if you're looking for houses or, you know, where kind of main corridors are. It's nice to have a big old-fashioned map. So
I'm gonna add one more thing that I love. I actually got my hands on this the other day, and I was thinking, wow, I missed the boat by not advertising in here. Because it's not just listing the business. It has like all the new resources for new residents. It has all of the parks. I mean, this thing is really just boat ramps, landings. This is
it's a resource.
Yes,
and people will keep it. And that, you know, and it started as low as $350. And I don't think we're putting up the price for the new one. So the most expensive thing I think was $12.50 back cover. Shout out to David Cable.
Smart,
you know,
David.
I know, he was so smart. It was so, and you know, there was the inside back cover that, you know, we ended up putting the businesses on. So we are very much gearing up for another edition, and don't miss out on this one. I think it was one of those, it hadn't been done, so then people wonder what it's going to look like, you know, before they're spending their money. But this, seriously, we are taking it, the city of Palm Bay has I think 5,000 copies. We dropped it off to West Melbourne, a box down to Malabar. So all these cities are going to have these copies for people coming in to pick up when they're there. So it's huge exposure for your business. And then coming up, we have our chili cook-off. So that's on Saturday, the 17th of February. If you want to be a contestant, just call us. It's free. Last year, we had some great contestants. One unique one, they did a wild boar chili. And people raved about it. I mean, they heard about the cook-off on the Friday and cooked all Friday night till 3 o'clock in the morning, and then came to the cook-off on the Saturday. No, wow. And it was awesome. They were two guys from Bass Pro Shop. So there's also a muscle and classic high performance car show going on.
At the same time.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, you bet.
And a kid zone.
Kid zone, yeah. We have like the little gerbil balls going again, and the bounce houses, and a fellow who's going to do the balloon animals or characters. There's also going to be a great silent auction. This year we have 4 annual Disney passes that are hopper passes. So you can go to all 4 parks in one day if you wanted to. So that's worth about $600. And then tickets to Busch Gardens. So we're pretty excited and great. There's a band, free beer again. So
what are you looking for with this? Is there anything that, are you looking for sponsors?
Sponsors are, there's some sponsorships available. We're looking for contestants. And if you want to be a business vendor, if you're a member of the chamber, it's only $50.
To be a vendor?
To be a vendor at it for all day. A non-member is $75. And last year we had over 800 people come through. So it's really good exposure. Yeah. And it was fun. Everybody had a very, very, very good time. So we're looking forward to that one again. And Space Coast Harley Davidson just were terrific. They were just such a huge sponsor, and we really appreciated their support. And then another event, the last thing, we've got our Peru trip. That is going out May the 15th. And you know, I wrote an article for Florida Today, and what I found in my research was that people that took less than 10 days vacations were less likely to have had a raise or a bonus within the last 3 years. So a lot of people think that, oh no, I can't take vacation, I can't leave work, I can't, it's all that can'ts. They don't schedule their vacation time, and then they get to the end of the year and they lose it. So we are offering this fabulous trip. Machu Picchu is a place I've always wanted to go. So my sister and I are going to be on it. We've got Terry and John Fazekas going, Christy Zayas. There's a number of people that are coming, and it is going to be a lot of fun. So if it's something that you've always thought of, come on this guided trip with the chamber, and I think you'll really enjoy yourself. Now this week we have coming up about decluttering your life. So Carolyn is kind of talking about almost similar to what we are about planning your intentional year, but you have to start by some of the things like decluttering your life. We know that clutter causes a lot of stress, and both at your work and home. And so she's with Compassionate Downsizing for Seniors, and this is what she does all the time. She's very good at it. So come and learn from an expert, and that's on Thursday from 3:30 to 5. And then we have our new member orientation next Wednesday. So if you've never come, it's great to know what your membership entails. It's also great to meet the new members, welcome them, find out about the chamber. And then we have our Brevard Business Professionals. Now that's on the 30th. We've changed for this year the location. It's still 8 to 9:30, but it's at Red Ginger at the Melbourne Square Mall. Our fabulous sponsor, Celebrate, CeeLo. He's amazing, and it's actually Cello.
I did the same thing. I know.
It's Cello. So
I'm so glad that I learned, yes.
Cello. Cello, yes. So he's our sponsor. Red Ginger is our host, so Grace will be cooking breakfast. It is free to come for any member that registers by the Friday before the event, so by the 26th. So every month, if you want to come free, you have to register by Friday before the Tuesday. And otherwise, for non-members or people that forget to register, it's only still $10. So not a big deal, but we need to know the count for Grace. So we are trying to get everybody engaged this year to pre-register for events. It's our goal. So now talk about our last thing of the month, Shannon, on the 31st.
Hi, Travis Gibbs.
Oh, Travis. Hi, Travis.
Yes, we are doing a marketing party.
We are.
And so I shared, she's like, yes, I'm getting calls and people are, so I shared with Nancy that I'm involved with a nonprofit organization, and they were working with limited resources and a limited team. And I said, I wasn't really ready to commit to a job, but I would commit to a time period where I could come in and we could work collaboratively as a team towards the shared vision of moving the chamber forward and learning marketing stuff. So basically what we're doing on the 31st is this is an opportunity. If you're a business and you want to learn how to access free publicity, you want to learn how to create a story that gets picked up, you want to learn what's newsworthy, and you want to be a part of giving back to the chamber while learning, then this is the place to be. The other thing that you've learned that I realized was a ripple effect is technology, because technology is always changing, and we deal with mediums in the marketing party of Meetup and Florida Today and Facebook and these different mediums. Well, what I found is that everybody gets to learn from each other, because there's certain things that, how did you do that? Like somebody didn't know that Control Z undoes everything that you did before.
Okay.
And I don't know if you knew that, but it's just, it's so cool because everybody's like, oh, what did we learn? And it's awesome. At the end, we usually celebrate what was accomplished, how many people we've reached. And,
okay, cool.
And I said, Nancy, let's do this, because Nancy has so many incredible stories. The chamber, the businesses, all of us have so many incredible stories here, that I think that it could be in the media every week.
Yes, I believe so too.
I believe so. Like we had this installation banquet.
Yes,
can we talk about that?
Yes, we
I know
can.
It's history, but
Miss
it's
Award
news.
winner.
It's news. No, I don't want to talk about that. But
yes, we did. We had our installation, so we installed our new board of directors. We thanked our old board. They were with us 2 years, so it was quite a commitment.
Wow,
yeah, we hadn't really installed anyone last year. We didn't. It was just the same board, so they were very gracious to stay with us 2 years. But this year we installed a new one, and we had our large business of the year, the Orlando Melbourne International Airport. So very thrilled to have them as a partner. And then our small business of the year, which isn't really small, but they don't have a ton of employees, but they do amazing work all over the county, is MH Williams. So with their development, they are just a phenomenal company, and Mike Jr. came with his wife, so that was very nice. And then we had our trustees that got awarded. We had the special award for the city of Palm Bay, their facilities department. Those guys are just phenomenal. That whole team that Thomas Schott has going there, they've just made the chamber what it is. And even the city, I mean, they're really working to make a difference and be team players. And then we had Shannon, who she's just phenomenal. So I had to make sure that she got recognized, because she gives of her time and talent every month with this. And not just this, I mean, you're always helping us. You have great ideas. You invite us to your Business Acceleration Summit. We went to your Media Magic. I mean, you're just a superstar. So we really wanted to recognize that. We also had FPL was our designated award winner. And then Sandy Mickelson, who unfortunately couldn't be there, but she was also an award winner.
And she's the new president.
She is. She's the incoming chairwoman. So PK got to hand over the gavel to a surrogate. So that was Kevin Chancellor. He's 2019's incoming chair. But it was a very nice night. It was a lovely facility at Grand Manor. It was totally renovated there. So Renaissance Catering did a phenomenal job. The food was fabulous. It looked beautiful with the chandeliers.
It was incredible.
All the tables
and
were
the people that came. It was like such a wonderful.
It just feels like family. I think that's one of the things about our chamber, is it really does feel like family. So we're hoping that you feel that way as well whenever you come to our events and always feel included. So and the last thing we have coming up is our luncheon for next month. And that's always the first Wednesday of the month. And our guest speaker this month will be Elaine Larson. And it's funny because we had our Brevard Business Professionals there, and she is a superstar. And I'm thinking, we have never had her as a luncheon speaker. Like she's just never, so I'm thinking there's so many people that have not met her, and she's phenomenal, and she empowers the next generation of both women and men. She's very much for girl power, has a team of women that help design her car, that help build it and maintain it. So that's phenomenal. But she also works with FIT and the students that are going through the, either engineering or mechanical engineering or space
rockets,
yeah,
rocket engines. I mean, it was.
I mean, everything. I mean,
the engines in there are just.
Yeah,
yes.
It's incredible. Yeah, I know. So we're pretty excited about having her as our guest speaker. So that's our luncheon speaker. But now to get to our topic, I didn't realize, yeah, we've been kind of kudos here and there, but it is our new year. So we wanted to talk about really setting your intentional new year. Mm-hmm. And I think one of the things when looking at that, most people kind of suggest doing a year in review. You know, that you look back at, one suggested every single week, and look at, you know, kind of write down, almost journal what the takeaway was from that week, what you learned, what you would have changed, and just kind of see the pattern for 52 weeks. And it's not to beat yourself up, absolutely not, but it's to kind of look at what happened and then use it to form your intentions for 2018. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, I find looking at lessons learned is a interesting thing. I started that a little while ago, where at the end of the day, it's like, what did I learn today? And it sometimes it takes a minute to think. I also found that successes that deserve celebrated or acknowledged.
Yes,
I know that for some people, if they're focused on challenges, I know when I'm focused on challenges, mm-hmm. that may not always be easy, but it's really, it's important. It's important because you want to look at what worked and what did I love doing and what, you know.
You know, Pat and I spoke about that after our symposium, because really that was a vision of what it would be in the future, and it happened the first year. And so I said to her, you know, we never did kind of step back and go, hey, you know, we got a video from Senator Marco Rubio, and we got a video from Governor Rick Scott, and we had Congressman Posey at our symposium, and we had our Florida representatives from this area and senator come, and we had business leaders. You know, it was kind of like, wow. And yet, I think because then you move on to the next thing. It's like you have no time to actually appreciate the accomplishments before you're into the next event or your next step. And I think it's true. You need to take time and celebrate the successes. And I know when Pat was looking at the calendar that I have on my wall, she goes, we really do a lot of stuff, you know. It's like, yeah,
over 100 events a year.
Yeah, there's a lot. Like, yeah, there's a lot. So, yeah, I think that's very true.
I also found another one, if you're going to look at your challenges, is what did you do to overcome those challenges? Did you delegate? Was there accountability? Did you move them off the list? Because that's also a place, like you said, looking at your year in review. What this does is it also is like, oh, I can't, it focuses on the positive. I did overcome it, and this is how I did it. You can actually start looking at steps of how you overcame those challenges.
Oh, yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, because I think sometimes we as a people tend to focus on the negative. But you know what? When we have challenges, we have to solve the problem. So whether it was a good result or a bad result, you know, it's, what steps did you take to solve that problem? So yeah, looking at lessons learned and areas for improvement. So, you know, I think sometimes, oh yeah, that's fine. And you just move on and you don't really take the time to review, you know, to do that critical analysis and go, hey, where can we make a difference? Because, you know, I mean, they always say if you continue to do the same thing over and over again, get the same result, like, you know, it's like, yeah, that's insanity definition. But, you know, so sometimes I think just kind of slowing down to really sink in. I think one of the things that I tend to do is I move from one thing to the next because we always have something else going on. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, we did that. So, okay, what's next? You know, it's almost like Friday night. It was beautiful. I think how pretty it was and the food was fabulous. And then I'm like, okay, what's next? Okay, chili cook-off. And, you know, you just, okay, what's this week we got? And it's never taking the time to sit there and go, okay, so let's analyze that. What was good? What could we change? What did we like? You know, and we kind of do that in an informal way. And this doesn't have to be a whole, you know, let's write a symposium, you know, a whole thinks
manual
is
on it.
honest.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I think taking the time to actually write down notes so you can look in your file to see, well, at least for us, you know, how that event went, what we would do next year, because you forget. And then, you know, I have a tendency to think of all the rosy stuff. And then people will say, do you remember when blah, blah, blah happened? No, I don't. That just left my mind. so
I had one
yeah.
event where nobody got served any iced tea. And somebody came back, and I was just so busy, and I had no idea.
Right.
It wasn't until after the fact, and they were like, are you so cheap you can't have ice? And I'm like, no, we paid for iced tea. Oh, they also said they didn't bring out water for the first, like, half hour or hour of the thing. So I was like, no. So, and had I not written it down, you know, it's like you just keep going, or somebody's speaking about it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you know, that was one of the things that, you know, when I was looking at this, it was incubate. You know, don't rush to kind of come up with your intention for next year, to just come up with words and this is what I'm going to do, and this is, you know, and then work out goals and objectives and that. It's like, take time. You know, that this is our lives. And I think they said a really neat thing was that every day was like a gift, which we know, but they said unwrap each day as it comes, because I think sometimes we're so focused on either the future or what happened behind us, you know, and think about the past, that if you just take each day as it comes, you know, I think you're more able then to receive all the gifts and the joys and passions that come from that day. I think that often people don't, I don't know, sometimes it's like we're sleepwalking through our lives, if you know what I mean. So, you know, that was one, to just really take the time to daydream about what it could be like. And I think another thing that they were talking about was something that you've learned about yourself through the year.
Yeah.
You know, like what's something that you kind of found out about yourself by doing all this? Because sometimes I don't think I look at that. It's like, if you have to grow, you need to look at what you're doing and what you learned, and then incorporate that in for future. So, excuse me. So looking at that, and then, you know, what you're most proud of. You know, ask yourself, who did I get to connect with? And were they people that mattered? Did I help anyone? Or did I receive help from anyone? What am I grateful for? Questions that, you know, you can ask yourself and take a time answering it. You know, I mean, when I think of the whole year, I mean, sometimes I can't remember what I did yesterday. So going back, right? I mean, you know, you're like, oh yeah, how did this weekend go by so fast? But if you go back in your, you know, your phone or whatever method you have for keeping track of your life, and looking at what you did all year, and really look at what you were proud of. I mean, what stood out for you, and think about, did somebody help you get there? You know, think of, you know,
I can recognize or acknowledge. Wow,
the gratitude that you feel for the people that are in your sphere. Like, I think this never would have happened, this chamber chat, without you in my life, without you suggesting it and saying, well, you know, yeah, I can help you with that.
Don't worry about the technology.
Really, so you're like, I can do that. Just show up. So it really was, I mean, it really was a gift for us in the chamber. And I think for the people that show up and want to participate. So it's something that we never would have done without, you know, your gifting your time and talents to help with that. I think of all the events that we had and people that were able to assist. Malak was great with our Brevard business professionals. You know, I think Sandy Nicholson, you know, going to everything under the sun, getting the name of the chamber out there. Richard and Sherry Martin doing the trainings. You know, it was Sally Ann Cause who won our Volunteer of the Year award. She got information out to people, and PK. Sorry. He's another one. PK, I thanked him for being my +1 to probably something every freaking week for almost 2 years. I mean, we literally were around this county. I had never seen Titusville as much in 20 years as I have in the last 2 years of being at the gym. Oh no, absolutely not. There in Cape Canaveral, literally, we were everywhere. We went up to Tallahassee.
I was going to say you guys did some political stuff.
Well, yeah, we got to go to Tallahassee, which that's happening on January 30th. It's sold out, by the way, so people aren't able to go. But we have all the chamber partners going, and then the business community leaders going. But we also went to Washington, and then PK and I drove up to Tallahassee to go to the governor's leadership dinner. And there was 48 of us in the room. Talk about amazing. It was one-on-one with the governor and these other people in the room. So he really promoted our chamber everywhere. And I can't be more grateful to what he did to get our chamber to this new level. I mean, he was a fabulous chairman. And so
and PK's with Holiday Inn
Express, yes, on Malabar Road. So I know we also assume everybody knows PK. So he's like the best. He's the best networker I've ever seen. I just, he's just so impressive. But so he's our past chairman, and so we're thrilled to have him still be part of our chamber. But I would say that, I mean, when I think back for me personally, kind of what I'm proud of and what help I got, I look at these people, PK and you and Sally Ann and Pat, Pat here at the chamber. I mean, she's phenomenal. For every idea I have, she's coming up with a system of how to make it happen.
How to make it work. Yeah,
so
that's a perfect team.
Yes, we were a perfect match. But, she's like, okay, it's enough now. But yeah, you know what? The symposium wasn't even something we were thinking of doing. And within 6 weeks, we had this massive event that just everybody was able to make. And so I think of the people that assisted with that, Carolina, who were very sad is not with us full time anymore, but still working part time. It really does make a difference. And I really took time to sit and think about how grateful I am for that. And now I have to tell them because, it's one thing for me to appreciate them, but they don't really know that. So,
you did a great job at the awards thing with everybody that was there.
Well, yeah, and some people weren't. So, just letting people in your life know that, how they've helped you or how you're grateful for things that have happened. Because when I said before, don't rush, we create what we focus on. And most people focus on that day-to-day issues, things they need to solve. They're firefighting, they're working in the business instead of on it. And when we get a lot done, check off that list, we feel very productive. But that's not always what we should, and I hate to say the shoulds, but it's not always being the most productive and what would bring our business to the next level. Mm-hmm. And so I think taking that time to not do that, because when you do, I know how I get sometimes, and I feel exhausted and overwhelmed and I get frustrated and I'm like, and you can stop that feeling by really looking at the overall, what your intentions are and setting them and having maybe 3 strong ones that you think, for me, I want to be more disciplined. I want to be more focused. And my gratefulness. I mean, I always have that, but I think being aware and every day sort of taking the time to think of, okay, what am I grateful for today? Yep. So those were kind of my 3 intentional goals for this year.
I love how Tracy Strotter with Everything Brevard, she shared that she picks a theme every month or every year.
Oh, okay.
She said she picks like a word and a theme and she builds her whole business.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Patricia joined us. Hi, Scott Smith. Hi, Jill. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, where are you?
I'm doing back and forth.
Oh, you're
My
over
phone
there.
For some reason doesn't have much of a signal. So
has died, and none of that's coming up. Oh, Doc Holliday.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Look at all these. Stephen Placey. Oh, Randy Mace.
Anybody
okay.
else you want to a little
Stephen,
bit?
We're talking about actually doing some trainings here. He had some great ideas, and I'm just looking at, my mind has to mull things over, how I am. And so I have to see how can I incorporate that, because he had a lot of really good suggestions. So whether it's just for training, that he's just a wealth of knowledge. But I'm looking forward to working with Stephen. So
I had one more thing to add on the tail end of closing up the year, if that's okay.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I think it's also good to look at the past year at what was a time leech. And this is probably good to look at on a regular basis. But where are there time leech, and what's a small step you can take to replace it? And that would kind of go into the next year. Because I think for me, unless I sit down, as you say, and kind of look at what's happening, I'm not able to realize, there could be conversations. For me, I went through a year where it was like, okay, I'm on the phone and I'm letting some of the girl talk last a little longer than I need to. So I had to get real clear on, hey, I'm here for you. I want to listen, but let's only focus on this so it was just one of those things. I wouldn't have identified that, hey, this is a time leech. You're trying to be of service and listen, and it's taking a lot of your time.
Yeah, that's me. I tend to not set time limits for meetings. And so that's one of the things that is my intention for this year, because I actually find that I learn a lot from people when you do kind of have that casual conversation, and when sometimes you cut everything off, you sometimes miss, what you get out of it. But when I do that every day, then I'm here till later at night because I didn't get done what I had to get done that day. So being more intentional with, if you're having a meeting, this is what I plan to get out of it. This is how long it's going to be, and try and stick with that, and let the other person or people involved know that this is, how much time. And that's like a basic thing, but it's so easy. We get chit-chatting, we're all friendly in that. So it's, old home week. And then the next thing you know, you're talking about your dogs and kids and cats, and, you just another hour's gone by and you're thinking, wow. And it's okay if you do that once in a while, but if that's what meetings are like all the time, it really can be a huge suction of your time and your talent. So,
So there was a couple of other things, and I think I shared with you that I love at the end of the year doing a workshop that's called Creating Your Intentional Year. So I'm just going to touch on a couple of things, if that's okay. And then I know you have stuff, and I have a couple more things. I also think it's a time of year to look at the type of person we want to be in our relationships, whether it be in our, with our children, or how we're volunteering in the community, our give back. I know that when we look at the type of person we want to show up as, then we can focus on that particular skill. So I'm going to give you an example. One year I said, I want to be more present with my children and have them feel heard.
Oh.
And so it's easy to be on the phone, and this is a continual thing, but it was like the awareness of this of going, okay, I need to put it down. I need to be present. My daughter now knows that this is important, and she'll pause and, Mom, let me know when you're ready. So it took that awareness of what type of person do I want to show up as this year.
I am so bad with a webinar. Oh, I can do my emails while I'm at it. You're not hearing much of anything when you do that, and so today I had one actually with the Florida Chamber of Commerce, and they were talking about legislation, and I thought, okay, I close that down, let me take my notes and what bills they were talking about, because otherwise it's just kind of noise in the background. You get it to the end of it and think, why did I even bother? I mean, really, if I wasn't present and actually listening to it, why did I even bother to sign up for it? So I do that sometimes. It's, Travis, I think he's on there. Oh, Travis Gibb. Yeah, there you go. He'd be like, how do you ever get anything done? You're so ADD. And I went, I never thought I was. I mean, that was one of those, what? And I went, yeah, I guess I'm a little squirrely sometimes. But I can sit and focus, though. I mean, I can sit there and do a budget for 4 hours and not move, So, I mean, I do have that. People don't see that side of it. But when I'm with people, oh, you betcha, I am all over the place. And so I think, yeah, that's a really good one, to be intentional and just be listening to them and not, And one of the things that my mom does drives me crazy. So I should know that it's not good when I do that to other people, is she can hardly wait till you finish. So then she can say whatever she wants to say. I mean, I could honestly probably not say anything, and she would be able to talk for half an hour about whatever. But that's her, that's how she is. But it's, if you're really wanting to engage with somebody, you kind of want to not be thinking about what you want to say. You really want to hear what they're saying to you. So I've really had to train myself. And sometimes I can see I'm slipping back into that, right? You're like, oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's like I'm going to miss something if I'm not present.
Right. Yes. So
it's interesting because sometimes we get caught up in what do I say and all right. So do we want to dive into? See, we've kind of. Go ahead.
The one thing though, this lady, and I might even just read it because to me it was unbelievable. Her name is Ellen Palmer, and she said, then after you do all this, she said about forgiving yourself. Because she said, for every perceived flaw, mistake, oversight, failure, unkind word, jealous moment, neglectfulness, irresponsible, overindulgent, lazy moment you've ever had, she said, you're perfect just as you are. These experiences were gifts to help you prepare for this very moment when you finally have the clarity, insight, inspiration, and the tools to create everything you've ever wanted. So, I think that's one of those things that we beat ourselves up a lot. You may have made intentions from last year and you look back and go, well, I didn't achieve any of that, or that didn't happen, or sometimes thinking of the negatives. And I think when she said, you're perfect as you are, and these experiences, good and bad, they take you to where you need to go. And so that you can handle the next stage or the next day and the next year. And so I thought that was really nice. And she also said too, make a list of, if you had all the money in the world or whatever, what would you be doing or not doing?
Yes.
How would your life be different, and what would make you happy? And what are you doing about love? What are you doing to make you feel good every day and those around you? And it was like, I think sometimes we don't think what life can be like. We're so involved in the nitty-gritty day-to-day rather than really looking at planning your life. Instead of letting it happen to you, plan what you want your life to be. And so that was kind of neat. So now that we've kind of, gotten rid of all the negatives and looked at our year and we're looking at setting our intentions, and let's look at then what we need to do.
So I'm so glad you ended with that, because it began with that.
Yes.
So it's one of the things is looking at what opportunities and resources are available now. I personally, I know this year, I'm so resonating with what you said, Nancy, about the word that I'm going to use is, I feel like I've been overbooked. And so really setting aside time to have that time to contemplate and think and plan.
Right.
So that's one of the resources that I have is time.
Yes.
Believe it or not.
But it's all, you can't make more of it.
Yes,
so
exactly.
You got to plan what you do with it.
So I think looking at the opportunities. So for me, I would consider the chamber a resource. I would consider my membership a resource. There could be partnerships that you're looking at. There could be contracts that you're looking at, or things in your business that are opportunities.
A friend of mine, Rochelle, asked if we are going to have a training on Google Analytics. She said that was her goal for this year. She wanted to be able to access that. And so I said, that's something that I was looking at because I think it's really important. And so she said she had some contacts and we might be able to do actually almost a webinar like this. Or I have some contacts that could come in and actually train me, because I think that's one of those things that there's so much knowledge out there. And I mean, I want to be able to say, we get this many hits on our website, and this is how many you get and how many clicks through, and we can kind of do that, but I'd like to be more versed on that. And our website is unbelievable. We had a fellow come in, Jesse, who just said, you have an amazing traffic going through here because all of our chamber partners are listed on there. So you get all the traffic that goes through our website. So it's phenomenal. Like he was like, normally, okay, sorry, Troy, I don't know what the numbers mean, but he said most of the time it's 20 or less. out of, I don't know what, but 20 or less. And we were at 41.
Wow.
So he said, that's unbelievable. Yeah, he was very impressed with the traffic on our website. So I thought, I need to be able to tell our members what else, they get and what a benefit, the chamber is for them. So yeah, that was one of the trainings that she was looking for, because she set her intentional year and that's what she wanted to do. So
yeah, and I think it's good to look at when we look at the opportunities of the chamber.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we really are wanting to provide, resources, personal and professional development. So that's why I would say to the members, if there's a training that you're looking for, if there's something that you want to know, we can try and coordinate that and get that done. We don't want to do trainings just for the sake of having one. It's really, will this help out the members? Is this something that they're looking for? So I think the one we have this month with Carolyn Neal and decluttering your life, I mean, that is such a huge problem for so many. I mean, I'm one of those. She says, okay, let me come and do your piles. I'm like, but yeah, because the stress of that, the stress of seeing, looking for things and not being able, I know it's here somewhere. How many times have we said that? Oh, let me flip through my papers. And it really just does get frustrating when you think of how much time you spend looking for things that are there, but you're just not organized. And so starting off your year organized and, I think it's going to be a huge help.
Yeah. She's amazing too.
She is, yeah.
Also looking at what do you want to focus on this year? There's different ways of doing this, and I know you have other stuff too. I had one time somebody share this process with me that was pretty powerful, and it was literally a brain dump of all of the things that I was doing or that I wanted to do or that maybe somebody else wanted me to do. So that could be children, like children, I have to run them to lacrosse or different things like that. So in this list, after I got it down, she said, no, I'm not going to tell you part 2 because I wanted to get it all down. It was about 7 pages of, could be for you, your events. And it's like all of our to-do list. It's like a master of what am I doing?
Okay.
And this was really revealing for me because part 2 was I had to go back and write down how much time that particular project takes each month.
Oh, okay.
And what it helped reveal was I didn't have enough time to do all the things I wanted to do.
I'm sure.
Right.
You're all over the place.
And then I had to really look at my priorities of what is it that I want to focus on and what's missing from this list that's important. Have you ever done one of those?
No. This is almost like Harry Potter where they take the memory and put it in the little, so that's just brain dump it all. That's a great idea.
Yeah, when she said the time thing, it was really fascinating because I don't know about you, Nancy, but I tend to get a lot of ideas and then it'll if I don't act upon it, it can be in there as a energy, attention, or distraction. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so having that process, it allowed me to really look at how much time is this going to take, and is this in line with my vision?
Right.
So the other thing is looking at one thing that you want to improve your power in, and we have these 3 things: time, energy, and money.
Okay. Time,
energy, and money.
So that sentence confused me. So what one thing I can do this year to improve my power of?
So for time, that kind of goes back to the time leech. Is there something that you could do? So for me, I went back to friends and said, or before certain things, hey, I really want to hear what you have to say, but let's only focus on this for 5 minutes. 5 minutes. So that could be one thing you do. It could be maybe you time log. I'm not sure what it is to improve your time,
right?
But is there something you can do to improve it?
Probably schedule it to start with.
Energy. So the energy can be health. It could be sleep habits. I mean, there's all kinds of things. I don't know if you have. For me, energy. I had to look at my water intake. So that was one thing. And again, you can do these every month. What can I do to improve my energy this month?
Oh, I guess that threw me off my power.
The power up. Yes.
Like, isn't that? Yeah. Okay. But one thing you can do to improve. Okay. Yeah. Oh, kind of like your ability to make the changes. So I see what they mean by power. Okay. Got it. Okay. And then energy. So What did you
Time,
do then?
energy,
Just
money.
having water was...
Well, that was one of the things I picked. So I do this more than every year.
Okay.
But it could be going to bed before midnight. It could
like
be
last night.
exercising. Energy is increased and decreased by all types of...
Okay. Yeah.
Do you have any comments on this, or are we going to move to the next one?
No, that's one of the, I said to Pat, sometimes I think I'm successful in spite of myself, because it's like I'm really bad with planning. I shouldn't say that. Like, I kind of know, and a lot is in my head, so I always think, oh, well, I don't write it down, so I'm not that disciplined. But that discipline is something that I don't know if it's from a kid where, I didn't like anyone telling me what to do. So then for me, it's like, wow, I'm not doing, who does that? I'm finding that I work harder because I'm not doing it. And it's like, get out of my own way and let's start scheduling things and putting things in to exercise. I joined the, just shout out to the mayors. They have the Mayor's Challenge, Fitness Challenge this year.
Wow.
So yes, it's the second year in a row. Last year, Cape Canaveral won. So I signed up on the Palm Bay team. And it's like, yeah, I'm going to have to fit that exercise in, because gosh darn it, we're going to win. So, I don't want to be a drag to the team. So, it's being intentional and setting this into my schedule and making the commitment, because it's so easy to go, oh, no, I don't feel like doing that. Or, you get home, you're like, nah, I don't want to go out. And just all these, life comes up and stuff. But really, I think getting the pattern and sticking to it, I'm really, and I didn't start January 1st. I knew I wasn't ready. I just did. But I'm thinking, okay, January 19th is when this starts. They have the first walk is February 3rd for the Palm Bay. So it's at Harris Corporation. And let's get this into my schedule and plan this. And I know I'm going to feel better. And, it'll be my intention for the year.
Awesome.
Or one of them. I mean, geez.
Well, and that's why sometimes sitting down and looking at this every month, because you might say, this month I'm going to focus on this. Next month I'm going to focus on that. And
because what you focus on is usually where you do see your success. So if you pick 95 different things that there you go. Me and my squirrel will just be all over the place. And but if you really do think that it doesn't have to be done all at once, and okay, this month, let me focus on my energy. Let me focus on getting, in a routine for, let's say, exercise or going to bed, setting, I'm going to bed at 11, not whatever it was last night, 2:15. And money could be the next month. Okay, I'm going to have the month, I follow the budget. I'm going to cut back on spending. I'm not eating out 5 nights a week and spending the money, and looking at that. And then the next month, because it can be overwhelming. And I think that's what happens sometimes with the new year, when people set their goals and objectives, and then, they say most of them don't even make it out of January and they're already, well, forget that. I think that if you kind of look at it and focus on the main one that you're looking at, and then, go on to another one and then revisit that other one. But looking at a few things rather than a million things, and not beating yourself up, because you know what, life does happen, and we have unexpected things that come up, and so sometimes it's just not going to work out like you planned. But if you don't, if you don't plan, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So
yes, so those are interesting ones to look at. What else do you have to share? I know we're at the top of the hour. I know that we can look at budgeting in our business. When you look at business planning, there's all kinds of things. I think, I know today, we were hoping to inspire to look at it more, the business holistic. All aspects of your.
Yes. Yeah, because I think a lot of people just, if they focus too much on their business not on their personal development, you're lopsided then. Because, when we look at the circle, the wheel of life, and, between your health and your family and your friends and your, spirituality or religion and your health and fitness, and your love life, it's a balance. And if you just focus on one thing, then you get out of balance and you do feel disjointed. So, you want to put, I think, an objective maybe in the different areas of your life. But you don't want to beat yourself up when it doesn't, some people are just, oh, well, I didn't hit that goal. Yeah, but you got further than where you thought you were going to be if you didn't really plan.
Yeah, acknowledge the steps.
Yes, and where that can lead you for the next year. And I think we spend so much time, well, I know I do, with, oh, well, that could have been better. We could have fixed that. That could be, and not really taking the time, as we said earlier, to look what we did. I mean, let's celebrate our accomplishments. And so if you forgive yourself, because, I have this, I don't know, this little recording in my head go through with things, that didn't work out. That wasn't great. Oh, look at that. Oh, a mistake on that. And if you can let that go, if you can just stop that dialogue and think, you know what, I'm perfect just the way I am. There's things that, yes, absolutely, we can change and do differently. But if you honor yourself, it certainly will make a huge difference in achieving your intentions for 2018. So that's kind of what I think.
And I didn't add fun, but I think that fun definitely needs to be a part of our intentional year.
Yes.
Having fun and fellowship and
that wasn't mine. I did write that down actually, and I don't know. I get yabbling, and so Lord knows where I did, but I did write down about having fun. Taking the time to find joy, and I've always said that about our business functions. I said, you can do business and it doesn't have to be all poker straight and everybody uptight, and you can have a good time. And I actually find when I looked back, we did our year in review and we looked at the pictures of our chamber events and we're all laughing. I mean, there's pictures of us sitting there with our keynote speakers at luncheon, and the sheriff's a crack up. There wasn't one person not laughing their head off in the photo. You know what I mean? That we've just, Hal, Rose with West Melbourne is always hilarious, and he's at the mayor's breakfast and has everybody in stitches, and Mayor Capote, they did their little Dancing with the Stars, and he brought his banner at the mayor's breakfast and put it behind him. And so, I mean, these things are what, people like to laugh and they like to have fun, and you don't want them thinking, oh Lord, if I have to go to one more event and it's a snooze fest. So that's what I look at. How can we have some fun and learn and network and build those partnerships? And
self-care is the last thing. I heard a fascinating story the other day that helped me realize that there's a place that was true for me in this. She was talking about going and buying a dress and how she went to the store and she found this dress that she loved, absolutely loved. It was like $125, and she immediately went to, I could probably get a Ross for this, and not, even though it was like the coolest dress, she really wanted it. Yeah. She didn't feel worthy. Well, then she realized later that if her best friend had went in and seen the dress and said, oh my gosh, I want this dress, da 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 da, she would have found a way to get it.
Right.
So the lesson learned is where will we do for our friends, and what could, how can we do good things for us?
It's funny, my friend Rochelle, I'm Purses and Shoes Lady. That's me. I used to do the event, A Purse with a Purpose. So I really always have had a fascination with purses and shoes. And so she went to Swanky Soul. She had a gift certificate that she had won, but the shoes were more than the gift certificate. And she bought them and took them home, and then she was going to take them back. And once again, it was almost that I'm not deserving enough. These are really expensive. I don't spend this much. Why am I doing that? And she said, the little voice in my head was yours. And she said that, you're worth it. Get yourself, invest in a good pair of shoes. It's important. You'll feel good about yourself. And she said, they have been the best shoes ever. And so she tells me that story, and I'm thinking, wow, that was really nice. But I also think for her, I'm thrilled, because it's like showing that you're worth it, that you're important, and you're willing to treat yourself. And we're not saying, okay, go and spend thousands of dollars a week and
rack up credit card bills. Not at all.
But it's recognizing, yes, that we are worth it and we're deserving, and you know, you do need to treat yourself, and it's important.
And being intentional about it in 2018,
Yes.
putting you in there as a priority.
I do that. I work to travel, so hey, I know, Peru. I am going to be in Machu Picchu, so in May I'll be sending Facebook posts all over the place. So we'll have to do our chamber chat early that month, and and I'm just trying to fit in Hawaii, maybe, I don't know.
Oh,
so,
I got Hawaii on my radar, so maybe yes.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, there you go. So because I just feel that. For me, I have always needed that. I get this kind of antsy feeling and I have to get away. And so that just, Pat actually said to me this year, she goes, you didn't really travel enough. I can tell that you're a little antsy. And I mean, she's getting to know me way too well, but I was really impressed. But it's true for my needs, you know, and if you don't take the time to recognize that your needs aren't getting met, then it does, I think, stall you in business and and what's going on. So what about you? What intention do you have for this year?
Oh my goodness, what intention do I have for this year? Yeah. So my intention, believe it or not, is to slow down a little bit and actually schedule time to be creating my life. I've already booked. It's so funny. At the beginning of the year, I'm like, every month I'm going to book 2 work days where it's just time to really look at these things. And so they're they're Thursday and Friday. And it's so funny how many times people wanted to book, or I wanted to book, and I almost booked over them.
Of course.
So my intention is to keep those as my time to really take time to inquire and pause. And
wow, that's a big deal, because sometimes you think, oh no, it's my customer, I gotta go, you know, and your little head's going on, but you know, if you say, oh, I'm kind of busy that day, can you do it? They're all like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, in our heads, it's like it's some emergency, and there's like, oh yeah, I've got other days. Like, let's pick. It's funny how we create our own stress and our own emergencies. And if you just ask people, most of them are, sure, that's fine. So that's what I was looking at doing too, because I tend to just randomly, you know, put meetings in that. And I'm thinking, talk about chopping up my day. So I want to set time periods where these are when I can schedule in meetings, and sometimes that's difficult because throughout the county there's things I have to go through, and they're like morning, noon, and night. But if I can kind of be more intentional in, you know, choosing the parts I can, you know, and scheduling that, then I think that is really going to help me in my time management. So,
and also leaving space as you know, it's like leaving space in your schedule for things that do come up. Yes. You know, and not just fires to put out, but let's hope for wonderful things, you know, opportunities that present.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of good things that happen. So
what are we talking about next month? Do we know? I'm going to invite everybody that's watching this to please get plugged into our Greater Palm Bay Chamber of Commerce. So you can actually join us on the webinar. We would love to have you pop in, and once you've signed up there, you can actually, it'll email you every time we have this every month. It'll
that's
email
perfect.
them with, it's really a cool automated system. But they do need to register.
So is that at greaterpalmbaychambercommerce.com? Okay. Yep. And next month we're talking about getting to yes, how to close a sale. Wow, that will help for a lot of people, because I think that's one of the things I'm really sad at too. I'm always like, just come to the events, check us out, see if you like us. And I am so low key, it's, you know, but I don't think you have to be heavy handed either to do a sale. No. But I think there are ways to get to yes. So I think that'll be great.
Awesome. So that's the 20th February?
Yes. Third Tuesday of every month is what we've got scheduled, except for May. We will be doing it earlier, and I think probably November too with Thanksgiving. Yeah. So thank you all for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you next month, and keep posting and sharing. And any more shout outs? Wow. Yeah.
Does anybody want to shout out Charlie Mace with colortools.com?
Oh, Marie Peltonen.
Are you related?
Yes. She's in Thunder Bay. Hopefully she's not frozen up there. It is not warm.
Oh, John Rogers. This guy has the most incredible tree houses here in Melbourne. He has, I think, like 50 species of bamboo. He's an incredible gardener and into
really?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
PK
And then Carrie, she's with Sue Ann's Bakery.
Ooh, nice.
Kelly Morrison McCartney. I went to school with her. I mean, literally from the time we were in grade 1 until we graduated high school, I went to school with Kelly.
Oh my God.
Yes, yes. So that's amazing. Wow. And Cynthia Cintron, she's with oh, now it's not going to come to me, but she was like home decorating, and she was writing for a magazine. She's a really cool lady. And we've got Julie Stone and Jessie Hall. Oh, very cool. Wow. Robin Hatfield.
We had a lot here.
She's moved to Texas.
I know.
I
She
know.
is brilliant. We got to get her on here sometime.
I know. We need to. Well, we're going to have to do some webinar and get her hooked up because she was supposed to do training and then she moved on me, and so now I'm very sad.
I'll help with the webinar.
Oh, will you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
We'll
she
get
knows
her.
how to do it too.
Yeah.
She's
She's amazing. So, and she can do everything from home. So, Mercy Gonzalez, Nancy Matthews.
Oh, with
From
WPN.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Women's Prosperity Network.
Yes, Women's Prosperity Network. A great organization. Yeah. Doc Holliday with the radio DJ. And wow, this was
Heidi.
She's on our board of directors, works for TD Bank. And we've got Paula Creed Smith and Norman Desrosiers. Is that how you say it? Rosiers? Tina Cutright. So wow, it was a busy chamber chat. So thank you all for joining us. We will, like I said, see you next month. So,
all right. Bye for now. If I can turn this off. There we go.